All right, so let's talk about the Super Eagles now. We saw the game against Central African Republic, a double header. We won that one by 2 goals to 1 in aggregate. We lost the first leg in Lagos by 1 goal to 0.
It's a 90-minute goal.
A disappointing loss. I was in the stadium, and you could tell when that goal was scored. The reaction. Everybody was so down in the stadium. Like, how would you? It was a heartbreaker. From the players, we saw the dejection at full time from them. How Kelechi Iheanacho, he did a Ronaldo at the Euros in the finals where Ronaldo was on the bench, dishing out instructions and all that. You could tell, these guys wanted to, win that game. It was Kelechi Iheanacho wasn't happy. Everyone was dejected. The players, the dejection in their looks on the final whistle. Then we went to Duala, the Japoma Stadium. Redemption, well served. We won 2 goals to 0. Now, looking at both games from your own perspective, what do you think? What went wrong in that first defeat in Lagos, and what happened at the second game in Duala?
I think in Lagos we played better than in Duala. Pretty much an underdog playing against a big team, and the underdog gave everything they had. One of the things that Central African Republic did well in Lagos was the fact that they double padded their defending. It was 9 men at the back at every given time, 9 men behind the ball, 1 man just hovering around between Leon Balogun and the person he paired with. And I think that the absence of True Stekong in the first leg, he didn't play the first leg.
No,
right?
He played. It was Balogun and
Okay,
Ekong.
it was Balogun and Ekong, yeah.
Then Awazim came in for the second game.
Okay, so I think it was the absence of, we played a 2-man center back.
Yeah, 2-man center back.
Probably that was one of the problems. And Leon Balogun and Trust were standing flat. But I wouldn't even call that a problem, because this is a goal we considered in the 89th minute, meaning that we were playing well up until that time. The only problem was that we weren't converting our goals. We had chances. It was a day where we did everything right, but it just didn't work. Kelechi had a chance, a very beautiful curler. Any other day that ball would have rested on the net. That didn't happen. Osimhen had about 4 chances that he didn't score. I think Osimhen have a little problem that he needs to fix. It's a mental thing. When you're a striker, you need to find your cool. I know that striking is instinctive, but then the best striker, the strikers have turned up with more goals. If you look at them, their demeanor, their action on the field, there is a calmness that comes with being a striker. It's also the same thing that works with center defender. In pidgin parlance, say any player where they do granade they get the ball. Defenders, if you want to dribble, defenders that are easy to dribble are very aggressive, they don't get it right. But when you're calm, there's a thing that comes with being calm, and it makes you, become more instinctive. I think Victor Osimhen needs to get that right. Maybe the pressure of all of the hype around him is getting to him, because he was a cool assassin during the under-17. And he's also, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think now it's like getting the qualification to get admission into the university. That ability is not what will see you through the university. If you stay on that level alone, you will not be able to solve algebra, calculus, and all of the other things that you're going to deal with when you start going GST 101 and all that. As you progress in the university, you need to up your game. You need to open up your mind, and you need to be able to ask questions and also be able to respond to questions. In secondary schools, for instance, when you answer questions, you can answer verbatim. What is government? What is democracy? Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, right? But if you go to university, they ask you that same question: what is democracy? You're going to explain democracy, not only define. You're going to define democracy. You're going to explain it, and you can go further than explaining who the people are and why is it for the people. And then you cannot reference other countries that don't even practice democracy. That's how progressing is. So Osimhen is at the place now where the world is looking at him as the next Rashidi Yekini, the guy who will step up to his throne. One of the things he needs to do is he needs to take more chances than he's wasting. He's very, very wasteful in taking his chances. Second thing that happened in that game was the second half when Kelechi got injured. When Taiwo Awoniyi came in, Taiwo Awoniyi brought in a spark. There was a spark immediately in the attack. We had chances upon chances, ball hitting the opposition defenders, and it was as a result of the double padding in their defending. It was good. They were playing checkers with us.
He had a chance to score too, bro.
They were playing checkers with us, seriously. They send you somebody. Normally in football, they tell you give your teammate 5 meters depth, okay, to recover. But these guys were giving us 2.5 meters depth. So there was no space. Even if you beat one, there is another man immediately in your front. They were tripling up like Speedster on Flash. So they managed to get that goal. And the reason why we considered that goal was when the game got to the 80th minute, if you notice, we decided to push like an acre up front more. Like, we must get this goal by all means. We can't lose here. Now, once that thing happens, most of the time, there is always the tendency to make mistake. And that was what happened. They got a lucky break and they scored. We went to Duala. I said to myself that these guys are going to have some kind of confidence, more like, is it not the Super Eagles? Is this all they are? They will come out. And you can't play Super Eagles. I'm sorry to say, you can't play Super Eagles and try to match us man for man, player for player, expansive play. It's like playing Manchester City and trying to be Manchester City. They'll rip you apart. You want to play Manchester City?
Well, we have teams in Africa that can stand man for man.
Not Central African Republic.
Okay, yeah.
Not Central African Republic. Okay. Even when Algeria beat us at the Nations Cup in 2019, they sat back and hit us on the counter. If you're going to go all out and, you with this mentality of not the Super Eagles will go beat them, you don't try that with the Super Eagles. Listen, the Super Eagles may not have star power like the biggest players on the continent, but you don't go all out gung-ho with the Super Eagles. We'll beat you. Because the thing is, you will have your chances and we will have our own. It is not a case of who convert their chances the most. Super Eagles will beat you to it. It's that simple. We were not the best defensively. I mean, I'm not a diehard fan of Leon Balogun. Like, he can defend to save my life, but he had a good game. Scored one, assisted one, fantastic. So he redeemed himself from the goal we considered in Lagos. Another thing that again was in Duala was Victor Osimhen. Come on, he had too many chances. By now, we'll be talking about Victor Osimhen already on 15 goals out of how many games played for the national team. It's one in every two, but he would have made it one in a goal every game if he had taken all the chances he got. Okay, so that needs to be fixed fast. Moses Simon, because I hate to blame individual players in a team game, but Moses Simon needs to be talked to, needs to be told that, guy, I remember Moses Simon playing for Dolphin. He was a fantastic runner and a good crosser of the ball. He needs to go back and learn how to cross ball. You can't make 27 crosses in a game and no one hit target. You should ask yourself a question. In the first game, he had 29 crosses into the box. Not one hit the target. In the second game, 27, no one hit target. No, you can't do that. Then, Chidera Ejuke, fantastic player. And people comparing him with any other person is foolish. It's too early for that first. But I think Chidera Ejuke should be told that what made Okocha always go down in my rating with all of his will of the wheels, his skills, his talent. What made me always rate Okocha down was in the first 10 years of Okocha's national team appearance, Okocha did not know when to dribble and when not to dribble. And that was a major setback because he came into the national team in 1993, same as Olise, and retired. And Olise left in 2002 after the Mali debacle with Patrick Ekeja and the rest of them. As at 2002, Sunday Olise, who was a deep line midfielder, a defensive midfielder, had more assists than Ostijejo Okocha, who had no responsibility to mark. His job was just create goals for people with all those prodigious talent. And that's the same thing that is about to happen with Ejuke Chidera. Fantastic dribbler. He can take on everybody, but not knowing when to play the give and go, release your opponent, draw. See, when you are
sorry to cut. At some point in that game, there was a time he dribbled, and Osimhen was expecting the ball. He didn't give Osimhen. I saw the frustration, the visible frustration from Victor Osimhen. Like, Oga, pass this ball.
that thing is one of the things that destroyed him because what's it called? The other guy that plays for Villarreal. Chukwueze also have that thing, and then you now have Moses Simon, and you now have Chidera Ejuke. Is becoming a problem. That's something that the opposition can exploit. That's why Denmark beat us 4-1 in 1998. That's something that the opposition would easily exploit and know that, is it that one that is holding the ball? It would dribble and go and waste it. You need to know when to draw attention to you as you hold on to the ball because 3 or 4 people were fellowshipping, falling under his anointing. All he needed to do was just flip the ball into space. Your attacker will run into it and score. If those things are able to be fixed, we'll get it right. But we won in Duala because Central African Republic gave up what worked for them in Lagos. They decided to come out and play. And once you do that, you leave pocket of spaces. And pocket of spaces were easy to be exploited. That was what happened. Nobody was marking Leon Balogun at the far end when we attacked that cross. Victor Osimhen was there, he missed the ball, and Leon Balogun turned it into the net. Second one, the goal that Victor Osimhen also scored, there was pocket of spaces everywhere, unlike in Lagos where they were, double padded. It was like interlocking stone. One was locking into the other, one was locking onto the other. There was just no space for the Eagles to play. You try to play play a shot, it will hit a player. You try to place the ball, it will hit a player. There was just no space for us in the 18-yard box, and we're not like accurate with our long distance shots like maybe the days of Steven Gerrard and the rest of the upper schools. So it just didn't work for us. There's plenty of work to be done with the Eagles. I'm happy that going into the Nations Cup, they would have time to be in camp. We will keep talking to Ghana Draw. I mean, I still believe in that team. I know that they are a semi-final candidate and hopefully go on to win the Nations Cup if they get a good training and they correct a few of their mistakes, their lapses. That is if they are communicating with each other. But if they don't, well, we'll see where we'll go.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.